This is the regular meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, September 12th. Please stand for invocation led by Father Ken Ugu, Most Pure Heart of Mary Catholic Church, and remain standing for the Star-Spangled Banner and the Pledge of Allegiance. And a moment of silence following the pledge.
At this moment, we are mindful of our brothers and sisters suffering the effects of Hurricane Harvey and Irma, calling on the Holy Spirit to comfort them and renew our hearts. Come, Holy Spirit, fill the hearts of your faithful and kindle in us the fire of your love. Send forth your Spirit, and we shall be created, and you shall renew the face of the earth. O God, who by the light of the Holy Spirit did instruct the hearts of thy faithful, grant that by the same Holy Spirit we may be truly wise and ever rejoice in his consolations. Through Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen.
Amen. At this time, we'll have Jordan Guyton.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets record, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you would, please remain standing for another moment of silent prayer in your own way. We do want to remember all of the victims of Hurricane Irma, all of our neighbors in Florida and throughout the southern seaboard, and please don't forget the victims of Hurricane Harvey in the Houston area. Just so much damage and so many losses and loss of lives in this country. So please, in your own way, a moment of silent prayer for all of these victims. Thank you.
Roll call. President Gregory.
Here.
Vice President Richardson.
Here.
Councilmember Manzi.
Here.
Councilmember Small.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Daves.
Here.
Councilmember Rich.
Here.
Statement of rules.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Jordan, that was fabulous.
That's right.
I mean, yes,
Madam.
wonderful, wonderful. We'd love to have you back.
Madam President,
Mr. Manzi?
if I could, I just want to recognize his mother who's sitting next to him. Jordan attends Dunbar Magnet School, which is in District 2. And he also has his grandmother here, Miss Juanita Hunter Sturdivant, and also his uncle, Mr. George Hunter, and I believe the young lady sitting in between them is his sister. So I just want to recognize all of these great District 2 citizens And thank you for singing that wonderful rendition of the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, thank you. Terrific. All right, he is definitely a hard act to follow, especially with just the rules of the council. But I do just want to remind you, our rules are very simple. We ask everyone to please turn off all of your electronic devices. If you come to the podium to speak, please give us your name and address for the record. You will have 5 minutes. At the end of 4 minutes, you'll hear the buzzer, and that's your indication that it's time to begin wrapping up your comments. If you have questions or concerns, please address those to me. I'm the chair, and I will at that point ask an appropriate member of the administration or council to answer those questions and concerns at that time. Again, we appreciate you all being here this morning. Look forward to hearing from some of the members of the audience who were here with us today, and some special proclamations. Ms. Lambert?
Approval of minutes of September 5th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Ms. Rich?
Mrs. Rich has a special proclamation for a group that is here with us today.
I'm excited to be here to present this proclamation. Okay, come on closer. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I'll let them introduce themselves after I read, but this is a Dodge School student, which is in District 4, hence Mr. Williams, and also Janet Ledford, the PACE teacher, who lives in District 6, hence my information on this. Excuse me. Whereas the PACE students from Dodge Elementary School and their teacher, Janet Ledford, are promoting awareness of the signing of the United States Constitution throughout the city and encourages others to hold a bell-ringing ceremony on Tuesday, September 19th, 2017 at 2 p.m. That's next Tuesday. Whereas this year marks 230th anniversary of drafting the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas the National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution, NSDAR, started the tradition celebrating the Constitution in 1955 by petitioning Congress to annually designate September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week, which became public law 915 on August 2nd in 1956 when signed by President Dwight D. Eisenhower. And whereas they also erected the only structure in tribute to the Constitution, DAR Constitution Hall, a performing arts center in Washington, D.C. Whereas the Constitution stands as a testament to the tenacity of the Americans throughout history to maintain their liberties and freedoms, to ensure those inalienable rights to every American. And whereas it's fitting and proper to officially recognize this magnificent document of human liberty, the anniversary of its creation, and to protect the freedoms set forth in the Bill of Rights. Now therefore I, Bess Rich, and John Williams, council members from District 4 and 6, along with the mayor and members of the Mobile City Council, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, September 12th, 2017 as Constitutional Awareness Day in Mobile, and we urge all citizens to join us in the celebration to the freedoms that are important in the document given to us. Okay. We'll take a photo. Okay, so you good with that? Here's your proclamation. That's yours. Thank you. And I won't put you on the spot, but I'm going to put your teacher on the spot to talk about next week's celebration. Give us some more information for the community to participate in.
I will.
Great.
Thank you so much. And I do want to clarify, Dodge Elementary is assigned Mr. Williams for his district, But a good third of our students also live in District 6, I think because of Cottage Hill Road. So that is why we, I don't know if that's true with any of the other council, how it works, but we appreciate your support. I waited till today to tell you so you wouldn't delete it. I'm going to send everyone a personal email with a flyer that talks about the celebration. We are holding our second annual bell ringing at the USS Alabama, and you are welcome to come. The public is welcome to come. The program starts at 1:30 and we'll ring around 2. It may be a little early because one of our military people has to kind of scoot out, so I may adjust. But I'm going to send you a flyer that I hope you will spread all across America. Love it to go past America, to encourage people to ring a bell at their homes, their churches, their places of business, and send a photograph. And there's a Gmail site on the flyer, and there's a Facebook. So everyone can participate in this, and I hope you'll share it among everyone you know as well. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. We appreciate your patriotism and helping us remember the patriots who sacrificed so much and establish the Constitution, which it's our Constitution that every other country in the world has followed as far as their constitutions, because this was an original document never seen before. So thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Madam President.
Mr. Daves?
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to make a few comments with respect to the Constitution of the United States, which was, which is that, first of all, our revolution, which was won at great cost against overwhelming odds, put in place something that had never existed before on the face of the planet, and that was representative government. Up until that period of time, everyone who lived on earth was subject to someone, subject to some king, potentate, emperor, and so forth. So one of the things I think we tend to forget is that the republic we created was the first representative government that had ever been created on the earth. And the second thing is our Constitution, which embodied that representative government, was the first written, the first document that had ever been written that created a government. Before that, governments had just evolved without any writing whatsoever. So this great country put in place two things that had never existed before, which were representative government and a written constitution. And we have both of those things. Excuse me, for both of those things we should be very proud. And I want to thank you and your organization for making sure that we're all aware of those two things. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Daves. Mr. Richardson?
Yes, ma'am. I also would like to make a comment as a historian regarding the Constitution. When the Constitution was originally drafted, it was mailed to the various states for approval because the states had to approve the Constitution. They rejected the Constitution because there was nothing in the Constitution addressing the rights of individuals in the several states. The Constitution only gave powers to the government. And they said, unless you can put something in the government to give individuals free speech, freedom of religion, freedom of expression, if you can't do that, we are not going to vote. And the Bill of Rights was born. They had to go back, draft the Bill of Rights, put those in there before the various states would approve the Constitution. And I think that was a historical moment.
All right, thank you, Mr. Richardson. Anyone else? All right, thank you again, appreciate it. Very good, thank you.
God bless the
All right, Ms. Lambert.
Communications from the mayor's office.
Before we do that, there is another group that is here today that the mayor has a proclamation that has already been delivered. We would like to introduce you, though. Mrs. Rich, can you?
Oh, well.
And Matt, are you? No, Matt's not still here? Because
their proclamation?
He told y'all what to do?
Well, then
okay.
I would go by that. I would go by that.
It was a tad confusing because the mayor is not here today and they presented a proclamation to this group, and so anyway, we appreciate you being here and sorry for the mix-up, and please.
No problem. Good morning. My name is Carol May, and I'm president of the Major Uriah Blue chapter of the United States Daughters of 1812. We're a patriotic organization that we are descendants of those who fought in the War of 1812. Of course, this is significant to Alabama because that and the Creek War is what brought Alabama into a great period of settlement. The Daughters of 1812 sponsor lesson plans and materials, beautiful posters and materials that have been distributed to over 5,000 students in the Mobile County Public School, fifth graders, as well as private schools. We are significantly interested in the Star Spangled Banner because our membership in the 1930s were the ones that brought it to be our national anthem. And so we're very proud of that. Thursday is Star Spangled Banner Day. We gave you cookies. I didn't make them, so they're edible. And also a button, and we hope you will wear it through Thursday, and we have others. If the audience would like those, we'll happily do that. This is the proclamation from the mayor. Whereas the Star Spangled Banner, our national anthem, was written during the War of 1812. And whereas on September 14th, 1814, Francis Scott Key saw the American flag flying over Fort McHenry, signifying an American victory, and was inspired to write the words of the anthem. And whereas millions of Americans cherish and respect the words and music of the Star Spangled Banner and recognize it as a civic and sporting event as a reaffirmation of patriotism and love for our country. And whereas the Major Uriah Blue chapter of the United States Daughters of 1812 calls Mobile home and strives to recognize the profound importance and impact of the national anthem. Now, therefore, I, William S. Stimson, Mayor of the City of Mobile, Alabama, do hereby proclaim September 14th, Star Spangled Banner Day. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for reading that, too.
Madam President.
Joel, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. I just wanted to, again, commend your organization for its work in preserving the memory of the Star Spangled Banner and the memory of the War of 1812. And I'm happy to report to you that I represent in the Society of the War of 1812 my ancestor, Private Isaac Gilbert from Georgia. Thank you very much.
And if we could, Ben Franklin, since Ben is in the audience, I'd love to have you just wave at everybody and say hello. When I saw you coming down the stairs earlier, I had to do one of these, take a second look. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here.
Okay, Ms. Lambert.
Adoption of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Appeals, we have requests for a waiver of the noise ordinance on October 7th on Dubois Street and September 23rd on South Ann Street.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Public hearings. Today is a public hearing to rezone property at 5803, 5809, and 5811 O'Shell Road, southwest corner of O'Shell Road and Long Street, from B2 and RA to B2 Lot A, and R1 and R2 to R3 Lot B.
Okay, this is a public hearing. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this, please come to the podium.
Is there nobody here?
Did the applicant? Oh, okay.
Hello, my name is Paul Davis, and I'm an architect working with the applicant.
Okay.
So if there were questions, I'll be happy to try to answer.
And where are you from?
Oh, I'm sorry. My office is at 61 St. Joseph Street in Mobile.
Okay. Well, this is a public hearing, so if you would just, I mean, it's up to you, of course, but we ask people if they would like to come and just share information about the project, if you'd like to do that.
Pretty much it's just a retail development, and the owner would like to have a restaurant and some retail shops there. It's across the street from the university. And she doesn't have any tenants signed yet, but she's hopeful. So.
Okay. Any questions of the gentleman while he is still at the,
yes.
Mr. Richardson?
Yes. What is the name of the restaurant?
Oh, they don't have one yet.
Oh. Okay.
But if you've got a suggestion, they'd love to hear it, I'm sure.
Okay, Mrs. Rich, did you have anything?
Well, were you at the Planning Commission meeting? Were you present for the Planning Commission meeting that discussed this application?
No, Joe Assarisi, the civil engineering group, came to that meeting for me.
Are you familiar with any land disturbance that has gone on the property?
The only thing that I've seen on the property, I haven't been by recently, they put up a job site sign sort of trying to attract tenants, and they've done some survey work, but the owner has not secured a loan, and the contractor has not been on site that I know of. So if there is anything going on site, I'd want to check, make sure it's on our property, because I'm not aware of any work yet, because she's still getting some paperwork together.
Okay. I think the city's checking on that as well.
Okay.
The planning staff had a lot of comments and concerns about this development because of it was rezoned, portion of it, from I believe the R1 to R2, to B2, excuse me, but it was prohibited to have a restaurant because of the small scale of the site. And then, and you as architect probably could appreciate this, another property became contiguous that became available, and imagine under either option or control of this applicant to do a bigger parcel that would allow that restaurant. But to your knowledge, there's nothing identified, and so they're just gonna, are they gonna wait until the property, are they gonna develop it like as a speculative and
Yes,
have a...
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no.
They're planning to build the shell of the building, and she just wanted originally we were thinking retail, but the idea that, there might be a Subway's or some type of quick serve restaurant that might want to come in. So we needed to add more parking, and that's kind of where that extra piece of property came into play. So she doesn't have a specific tenant. She just wanted to sort of cast a wide net and just to see, who might be a good fit.
You don't have to give this out right now, but I would love to be able to talk with the person who is actually calling. I know that you're involved, but you might not be calling the shots per se.
Sure.
So if you could leave that with the clerk, a way for me to get in touch with her, because I've not had that opportunity.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
I mean, I had a lot of concerns at the Planning Commission and expressed also a desire to sit with the applicant. I understand the need to get it rezoned from the R1 to the commercial. That's not the issue. It's just really packing on all of this type of infrastructure on a site that it still appears small to me, and I'm really concerned about the traffic and all of the how you would do on site to get to the speakers and the apartment complex that sits right behind this. It just seems like there's a lot of stress on the property on what's being planned.
She does own those apartments. Her long-term goal would be to do something different with those apartments and continue to develop the site. But right now, she's just starting with that small building. Each of the tenant spaces are maybe 1,100 or 1,200 square feet, so they're not large spaces. So they're pretty modest in size.
And then a restaurant.
And the restaurant, again, unless they were to lease 2 spaces, they're still, I think what we've envisioned is something fairly small as a restaurant, because just the tenant space is basically like 30 feet deep by 40 feet long. So it's going to make it more conducive to more of a neighborhood type establishment, I would think.
But there's still an interest to see whether a larger type restaurant would come in and take up the entire parcel. That would not be something that would necessarily be a turnoff for because there's nothing that this body is able to do to say what exactly you put in the square footage once it's developed.
Okay. So. And I don't know that I would definitely put you in touch with Ms. Saby.
That'd be great. I would love that opportunity between now, because we won't be voting. It's the first read, so we will be laying this over till next week.
Okay. I
appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, this is a public hearing, so if there's anyone else in the audience who would like to speak to this, please come to the podium. Okay, with that, the public hearing is closed.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Well, since we've heard from the Daughters of 1812.
Right.
Ariana MacArthur.
Ms. MacArthur?
morning.
Good morning.
Ariana MacArthur, 3065 Finley Avenue. I'm a financial professional and an MBA student here at the University of South Alabama. I make my living by providing consulting services to small businesses, mainly in the area of finance, helping them to manage their capital, provide them with analysis and insights to grow their business. So I sympathize with the accounting and finance team at this period during budgeting cycles.
Ms. MacArthur, can you speak up just a little bit?
We didn't hear anything.
Y'all can't hear anything I just said?
Well, we heard basically you're a student at South Alabama in management, I think, and a consultant. The audio in here is not very good, so if you could just speak up a little bit, that would help us.
Okay. So today,
And speaking to the microphone,
make
because we definitely won't hear you otherwise.
Recommendations to the council to consider before they adopt the proposed budget. I think that it's important for citizens to be included and encouraged to participate in the budgeting process so that it is a true reflection of the needs and priorities of the full constituency. This would be the first step in an exercise of participatory budgeting, which is a model that's being used in cities across America in the country. But it's a model that allows community members to directly decide how a portion of the budget is used and enables them to help the government to make decisions that will ultimately affect their lives. And so I think that we could all agree that inclusivity, transparency, and accountability are key to maintaining a strong relationship and a sense of trust with our elected officials. And I think these recommendations will allow citizens to get a better sense of what exactly is going on the financial direction of the city and helping them to understand the function of the city so that when cuts are being made, they can prioritize themselves, well, these things are important compared to other things. So my recommendation is one, that the budget include the variance from the prior year, both in dollar amount and percentage, which could be done if it wasn't in PDF format. And so my second recommendation is that you release it in Excel format. And you could also protect the cells if you're worried about maintaining the authenticity of the data. In addition, I would like to petition the council to require that every proposed budget be supplemented with an itemized summary of projects and initiatives that are being funded with the general and capital funds from every department, cost center, and the performance award contracts. These are also things that could be easily facilitated through the Finance Committee. And so I would like to know if the council would be in support of these measures, what would be any hindrances or objectives to what I have proposed, and what would be an expected timeline for the implementation of those. And then my second question relates to the performance of our contract.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the first question.
I'm sorry. We told you that the audio in here is not very good, and you have a low voice, a very smaller voice, much smaller than mine. So if you could just really speak into that microphone so that we can hear what it is you're trying to tell us, we would appreciate it. We're old up here, except for Mr. Manzi and Mr. Small.
That's right.
Okay, you need me to repeat the questions?
Yeah,
Right.
if there's the question, you don't have to lead up to it, just what the question is. And also, we've asked other people who have come to speak with us through the public hearing and other opportunities, if they have a list of questions, if they would give them to us in writing, then we are happy to forward those on to the administration. So if you also want to do that, we'd appreciate it.
Okay, I can also provide it in an email.
That's perfectly fine.
That's probably
yes.
the best way to provide it.
Yes.
Okay, so you want me to go back to the first one and go on to the next one?
If you're going to provide us the written copy.
Okay. And then, so my second question to the performance contracts, for the public record, what is the criteria and process for which performance contracts are awarded? And also, what is the process for monitoring the success and the economic benefit of the performance contracts awards? And is there an open period for submittals from all organizations in the area? And then my last item is in regards to the cricket club. Like I mentioned, I'm an MBA student in South Alabama, and a couple of my friends, they are members of the cricket club. And so they asked me to come down and make some communications to the council on their behalf today as well.
On the what club?
The cricket club.
Cricket club?
The cricket club, yeah.
Does that have to do with the budget?
Yeah, they're asking for, so they currently play over in Cooper Riverside Park, and that space isn't conducive to the game that they're playing, cricket. And so they're asking the city to sanction another space for them in the city, and they would be willing to co-opt a soccer field. They said a baseball field wouldn't work because they wouldn't be able to play baseball with the cricket equipment, but they're not asking for any money because they have the money that they would need to basically put the pitch in the center of the field, which is what they need to make it operable. But they would like the city to sanction.
I think what the folks with the cricket club need to do is contact our Parks and Recreation Department to see what fields or parks might be available for them to play, and then they can work with them on that.
And Madam President,
Mr. Richardson.
The budget is what's before us.
I understand that, but since she led
That's not
into
in the
it,
budget.
thinking that it was
They
part of the
asked me to
budget,
slide it
I
in.
let her continue when I
Oh,
answered
I
the question.
understand. I just want her to know
Yes.
that it's not in the budget. So.
Correct. The cricket club and where they play has nothing to do with our
No.
budget. Go ahead, Ms. MacArthur, since I ate into your time. Go ahead.
Yep, that's it. That's it, unless you guys would like to address any of the questions now.
No, if you'll go ahead and just email us with your questions, we are more than happy to get those to the administration and address them and get back with you. We are not voting on the budget today, so there's still some more time to get those answers back to you. And if you have any other questions, feel free to email them to us and certainly attend the meetings and speak.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Ordinance is held over. 64032, rezone property at the west side of Rangeline Road, Service Road, from R1 to B3.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolutions held over. 37531, recommended approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a retail beer, table wine, off-premises only license for Discount Zone on North Broad Street.
Move to lay over 2 weeks.
Second.
Discussion?
If anyone is in
Mr. Manzi?
contact with the owner of this establishment, please ask them to contact my office. I've been looking for them for 2 weeks. I have not been able to find them. And I'm not singling the Discount Zone out. This is my standard operating procedure for these types of retail beer and table wine licenses, to make certain that there's a standard as it relates to loitering, as it relates to litter, and operations in general. And so I'd like to speak with the ownership, and until such time, I'm going to be moving that we lay this over 2 weeks now, and if I don't speak with them in the next 2 weeks, it'll be 2 weeks again. Thank you, Madam President.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
21550, authorized contract with C. Thornton for Walsh Park concrete paving, sidewalks, basketball court resurfacing, and park furnishings.
So move.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, Madam President.
Mr. Small?
Yes, this particular park is located off of Dolphin Island Parkway, inside of a neighborhood. When I had first took council, I drove throughout the district and saw this particular park. And when I was driving, I know I told the story once or twice in the council meeting before, but when I was driving, I seen kids in this particular park flipping abandoned tires to play with, because this particular park did not even have a decent playground equipment for the kids to play with, and really had touched my heart. The park was overgrown, abandoned tires everywhere, broken picnic tables, and when we had came to talk about the capital improvement projects, the CIP, this particular park came to mind, and I said, I want to vote because this is one thing I want to see improved in the district, because kids should not have to play with abandoned tires for fun in the neighborhood. They should be able to be playing with swings and merry-go-rounds. So I'm so happy, for this to be before the City Council today, for we can improve our neighborhoods throughout District 3. Thank you, Madam President.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
01551, authorized fiscal year 2018 Stantec Master Services Agreement to provide continuation of overall program management, consulting services, and support for the capital improvement program.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
21554, authorized contract with McElhaney Construction Company for Grand Boulevard 2016 drainage improvements.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Richardson?
This agenda item has to do with a contract that's going to a construction company who will address the flooding on Grand Boulevard. I've been on this council for more than 20 years, and Grand Boulevard has been flooding during every heavy rain period since I've been on this council. But it has only been within the past 2 years that any money has been allocated to District 1 to address any of these capital needs. And I am happy to say that we are now addressing flooding on Grand Boulevard as we are addressing flooding in other areas. And I'm happy to announce to the people on Grand Boulevard to be patient with us, because the contractor is going to have to go out and get started. But at the end of this process, hopefully there will be no more flooding on Grand Boulevard. Thank you, Madam President.
All right, thank you, Ms. Richardson. Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
01552, amend the project agreement with the State of Alabama, Mobile County, Mobile Area Chamber of Commerce, and rural sourcing for economic development.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
09553, adopt the 2017-2018 budgets for the general fund, capital improvements, strategic plan, and the convention center.
Move delay over 1 week.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
31557 and 558, amending program year 2016 and 2017 action plans for ESG and CDBG.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance is being introduced for the first time, 01033 through 64034.
These two ordinances were leveled for 1 week by council rules.
Consent resolutions being introduced for the first time, 6561.
Motion to suspend rules for immediate consideration of resolution 60561.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
6561, approve award of special bonus to Billy Roach as part of the mayor's incentive program, $500.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
CIP resolutions being introduced for the first time, 21562 through 21563.
Motion to suspend rules for immediate consideration on resolution 21563 and 562 were leveled for 1 week by council rules.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
21563, authorized contract with Harris Contracting Services for Dog River Park scoreboard repair.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolutions being introduced for the first time, 01564 through 35566.
By council rules, these resolutions were leveled for 1 week.
Call for public hearings. 41567, call for public hearing to consider the application of William Clifton for a certificate of public convenience and necessity to operate a hauling service scheduled September 26th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Announcements.
We will start with Mr. Richardson.
All right. Thank you, Madam President. About 2 weeks ago, I mailed a brochure to all of the residents in District 1, explaining to them that the time to extend the penny was upon us. And in doing that, we had to deal with the CIP initiative. So I wanted them to go back and look and provide to me the most important capital projects that they would like to see me address in the near future. And what I would do is take those projects and divide them into communities. I have 5 communities in District 1. I have the community of Moffett Road, Crichton, Midtown, Tobinville, and Trinity Gardens. and then we would prioritize all of those concerns, and we would determine what it is that you deem to be most important, and those would be the items that we would start working on. Not that we won't work on all of them, but we would have a priority, an order of priority that we would address all of these issues. So for all of you out there, a brochure was sent to your house. If there's something that you want us to work on, fill it out and mail it in, call it in, email it in, text it in, walk it in, get it to us some way, write a letter to us. It doesn't matter, because at the end of September, we're going to cut this process off. Then we're going to start formalizing the comprehensive capital improvement plan for District 1, and that plan will be based on what you said you want me to do. And what usually happens, 4 or 5 months down the road, then the citizens who did not respond will start pointing out this, that, and the other. You're out of the process. You're out of the process. We are following the process. It's not what I want to do. It's what the citizens want me to do. I don't know no better way to address this than I could call meetings. I could call meetings, and about 20 people show up at the meeting, and then I develop a comprehensive program for District 1 based on 100 people. Or I can send it to the 30,000 people in District 1. I can send it to your home and let you tell me what you want me to work on, and that's what I work on. I elected to mail this brochure to all of the residents, and we're not going to reverse this process. This is the process we're using. We want to hear from all of you, and then we'll start doing what you said you want me to do. Thank you, Madam President.
All right, Mr. Daves?
No announcements.
All right, Mr. Manzi?
Yes, Madam President, I'm announcing that I'll be attending the Church Street East Neighborhood Association meeting tonight at 6 o'clock. On Wednesday, I'll be at the Big Zion, AME Zion Church, as they celebrate their 175th year church anniversary. Quite a number of historic churches in District 2, inclusive of that is the Stone Street Baptist Church, the oldest Baptist church in the state of Alabama. I love the opportunity to participate in these church functions. There's an agenda item on here that's of concern to some individuals, Mr. Aaron Dahl, Ms. Kelly Baker, the former president of the Tuntic Square Neighborhood Association. Support the agenda item. There's some modifications that'll be made by our council attorney and the city attorney, and hopefully it will be included in what we see on next week. I hope also next week to announce a series of fall community meetings across all voting wards of District 2. I similarly will follow a path of mailing the residents in the district to get marching orders as it relates to the CIP program for the next 4 years. Want to be sensitive and responsive to the changes that the communities would like to see in their areas, and the improvements and the amenity improvements that you think are most beneficial in your respective communities. So be on the lookout for that. I'll be working on that design. I hope over the next month to get that out so that we can plan the next 4 years and again be attentive to making progress that citizens want to see in all communities of District 2. Again, appreciative of the opportunity to be the voice for District 2, as Madam President says, in District 7, here at Government Plaza. That concludes my announcements.
All right, thank you, Mr. Manzi. Mrs. Rich?
Thank you very much. This past Sunday, I was out at the Mobile Kennel Club's dog show, which unfortunately does not take place in Mobile. It did until it grew exponentially, and then because a lot of the owners and the handlers come in with RV trailers, it's hard for us to host this in our convention center. So unless there's some thinking caps put on, as I like to say, to figure out a way to do this, because these are very enthusiastic people, and hundreds come in for this show. The winner, which I was fortunate to be able to give the gift that came in from the Mobile Kennel Club, is a Scottish Terrier. And the name is extremely long, and I would get it all tongue-tied. But that is the breed that won Best of Show for the club. And again, it was a great honor to be part of that. Just wish it was closer to home in the future. Also, I'd like to again tell everyone about the bell ringing event that will be at the Battleship. But you can also ring bells wherever you are at 2 o'clock on Tuesday the 19th. So try to remember that. It's a good way, especially for children, to learn about our Constitution. On Saturday, October 7th, there will be a work crew out at the Connie Hudson Senior Center, and there's a lot of people to thank for that. First, Commissioner Hudson, who was instrumental in working with her horticulturist with the county to help draw up the plans, and this is to do beautification on the landscaping. And we need planters and people who will come out. The county will do the hard lifting, but we'll need people to come out at 7 o'clock on Saturday, October 7th, it's a lot of sevens, and at 7 a.m. We will serve lunch, and also like to thank the foundation who is instrumental in that. That's the Service 501c group for the Connie Hudson Senior Center, and also Lowe's, which gave a gift, a capital gift towards this project. And we will be planting the entire front, sides, and rear, which are really in desperate need of this beautification. And we'll need a lot of hands on deck for that. I'm hoping to work with one of the schools that have children that will come and participate. I'm working to pull that together. I'd like to thank the Master Gardeners also for helping with this. And again, this is a joint project and something that I hope people will come out, even to give just a couple of hours or a little bit of your time. If we all do that, we'll get this knocked out. The Citizens Advisory Council to the police will be meeting in District 6. We have not nailed down the date. They would like it to be in October. It will be at the Connie Hudson Center, and it will start at 5:30 for people to drop in. And I believe their meeting starts at 6 o'clock, and I will announce a hard date on that in the very near future. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Small?
Thank you, Madam President. This past Saturday, we had a great event. It was located in District 2, but my office, with a conjunction with the Port City Second Liners, Mobile Area Mardi Gras Association, Order of Doves, Alexander Sonora, and Cumulus Broadcasting, we did a community action relief effort for the victims of the Hurricane Harvey. The drop-off spots was overloaded with water, so we sent out one 18-wheeler full of water earlier before Saturday. Saturday, we had an opportunity to collect from the different citizens throughout the area water, clothes, Clorox, etc. I'd like to thank all the volunteers, all the sponsors, and especially the citizens for coming out this past Saturday and helping with this this great effort. Like I said last week, it was them last week. It could be us next week, and I'm so grateful that we had a very successful event this past Saturday at the last People's Stadium. Also, this evening will be a very busy evening for me. At 5 o'clock this evening, the Oakdale Community Action Group will be having their monthly meeting at Smalls Mortuary on Broad Street, inviting all the citizens in the Oakdale community to come out on this evening at 5 o'clock p.m. for this great community meeting. Also this evening at 6:30 p.m., the Riverside Community Action Group will be having its meeting, monthly meeting this evening at the Riverside Baptist Church, inviting all the citizens in the South DIP area, especially the Riverside area, to come out at 6:30 p.m. this evening. I am the guest speaker this evening, so I'm looking forward to speaking to many of the residents in the Riverside area, and also to answer some questions. And remember that District 3 is a place where things are happening. Thank you, Madam President.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Williams?
No, thank you.
All right, just one last announcement. There will be a Finance Committee meeting 3 p.m. Monday next week to discuss the budget. And October 1st through the 4th that week. There will be no council meeting that week. A multiple number of council members will be on the chamber leadership trip that week, so we will not meet the week of October 1st through the 4th. Any other announcements, discussion? Mrs. Rich?
I do. It really wasn't a district announcement, but in getting emails back and forth about Comcast televising our meetings, and it used to be twice a week, Tuesday evening at 8 p.m., if I'm not mistaken, then again Wednesday at 1, which seemed to be something that everyone was kind of satisfied with, but now we're told the last information given was 4:30 to 6:30 on Saturdays.
Or Sunday.
Or was
Saturday
it Sunday?
or Sunday?
Saturday.
Okay.
And I had, in communicating back and forth with council members over this, I had asked whether our franchise agreements need to be pulled to see exactly how much public access the cable franchises need to give back to the community. And so I'm hoping that other council members will join me in this because to me that's just not enough. When we first started televising our council meetings, Comcast had a local I guess executive director that was actually on the ground here in Mobile that people dealt with, and now I understand it's done by regions, and I don't know how often that individual gets into our city. But we had a lot of public access at one time where there were service groups that were able to have airtime, no charge. There were talk shows, if any of you remember, and this is ancient history, but again, it was a lot of exposure. We have a lot of public meetings that are taped in here or could be videoed. I know that the Planning Commission gets on our web, and so does the Board of Adjustment. That's all good, but we really need to see some more exposure on our TV channels instead of just computerization models of getting out public information. And I'm hoping that there's a way to do that through the FCC laws that say when a company is on your public rights of way, because that belongs to the public, they also have to bring back some public access. And if you visit lots of cities, then you know, and even cities not far from us, there is a lot of information that does come across the TV channel that is the public access channel, and we're really kind of anemic with that. So again, I hope that my colleagues will join me and we can look at that franchise. And I don't know who initiates it or how it works, but I really would like to see better public access out there.
All right, thank you. All right, anyone else? Mr. Manzi?
Rich know that I certainly agree with her. If we look to New Orleans, they have a station dedicated just to public access. It might not be the #1 ratings getter in the region. You know, Nielsen is not off the charts on the Nielsen ratings, of course, but it is available. And I believe that as we deal with Comcast, that ought to be an option. We ought to have increased public access. Citizens should know when they'll be able to view their council meeting so that they'll have an appropriate amount of time to share feedback and criticism or even compliments as it relates to what's going on in the city. I'm also curious as to when I look at other major cities in the state of Alabama, this may or may not have anything to do with what Councilwoman Rich just brought up. The level of competition is different here. You go in the Birmingham area, there are 5 or 6 options that you have for cable. And recently, in doing some changes at home, if I didn't deal with one particular entity, I would not have the ability to move forward with Wi-Fi and things of that nature. So I'm hopeful that maybe that can be an all-inclusive discussion as to how we might could address that issue and the public access issue at one time.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right, we are adjourned.
Diane, I'm going right upstairs.
Everybody right
Yeah, well, Monopoly.